Joining me now, Bob Kincaid, radio broadcaster and co-founder of the Appalachian Community Health Emergency Campaign. Bob, I know when the Upper Branch mine disaster happened, people knew that company. They knew Don Blankenship, who's a sort of legendary figure in West Virginia. Do people in West Virginia, in the Charleston area, do they know Freedom Industries? Had they thought of this company? What are folks saying down there about the people that appear to be the perpetrators of this?
Chris, I don't think anybody had any idea that Freedom Industries even existed. It looks like the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection barely even knew that Freedom Industries existed. There are far more questions about this company than there are answers. I mean, for instance, how is it that a company gets incorporated by a convicted cocaine dealer, which is the case here, and then goes on to be able to site a toxic chemical plant a mile and a half away from the public water supply?
Just so we're clear here, and that people don't think this is a wild accusation, I'm reading from the Charleston Gazette about one of the co-founders of the company. According to documents filed with the state, in 2005, federal prosecutors charged Kennedy, who was one of the co-founders, with failing to pay them more than $200,000 in income taxes. In 1987, he pleaded guilty to selling between 10 and 12 ounces of cocaine, according to reports. As for your second question, this is the thing that is so remarkable about this. You've got this chemical company that's got tons of chemicals sitting in big industrial-sized tanks, and they are on a river that is being used to suck intake into for a water supply. How did this ever pass any kind of regulatory muster?
Chris, it didn't pass muster because muster is not something the state of West Virginia does. If you are even remotely tied to the coal industry in this state, which this company is by providing this chemical to the coal industry for prepping the coal in the hills and hollers where it's mined around here, then just about all things are possible for you. This is the tip of an iceberg that reaches down into our mountaintop removal communities and leads to a much larger overarching potential disaster that has been emerging in this area for a decade and a half.
Explain to me what the relationship is in the state of West Virginia between the industry and the regulators. It does seem to me like a classic case of capture in terms of the politics. I thought it was very notable that you had the governor and the senator speaking to me, Joe Manchin, immediately rushing to just tell people, this was not the coal companies, this was a separate company, it was a chemical company. That's pretty revealing to me. The priority number one seemed to be to make sure that people don't blame the coal industry.
For West Virginia politicians, be they Democrat or Republican, Chris, it is a matter of coal yesterday, coal today, and coal forever. The fact of the matter is, Earl Ray Tomblin, the governor of this state, rejected a plan 3 years ago that very well would have prevented this disaster from even happening.
What was that plan?
It was prepared by the United States Chemical Board. It was similar to a plan that was put forward and put into place in, I believe, Contra Costa County, California. And in June of 2011, they were presented with the plan in January 2011. And by June 2011, the Tomblin administration had said no thank you.
And this would have been some kind of heightened set of regulatory rules for inspections of the myriad chemical companies that are dispersed throughout the state that are providing chemicals to the coal industry or getting coal from the mountaintop removal process.
That's my understanding, yes.
Radio broadcaster Bob Kincaid, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
The war to preserve the sacred incandescent light bulb and other conservative follies ahead.